So there's this video interviewing a man who runs a skeptic community, and the video is called Acupuncture is Useless. Now in the video, he compares the effectiveness of acupuncture to basically being no different than a placebo, like just sticking a toothpick on your finger. Now this is when they were doing those early days of sham research on acupuncture, where they would compare putting an acupuncture needle versus a toothpick. And according to him, there is no benefit whatsoever. But the most fascinating thing is actually what we discovered from that video itself. So in this video, I'm gonna jump in and we'll take a look at a piece of the video as well as the surprising thing that happened because of the video. Hey guys, I'm Dr. Alex Hein, board licensed doctor of acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine, and author of the health book Master the Day. So let's jump in. So here's the video by Insider Tech. This is a Yale University neurologist. He's saying that basically it doesn't matter where you put the needles, you get a placebo effect out of it, and that is all. Why don't we take a look at the comments though, because this is the most telling and the funniest part of this video. Acupuncture, only therapy that fixed my lower back pain after 11 years in the military when years of muscle relaxing drug therapy did nothing. Second one, I just did acupuncture for the first time. I have lower back spasms so bad I ended up in the ER. My muscle relaxers did nothing. I sat there with the needles in my body. I was thinking this is so stupid, but I got home and I'm now a believer. I am literally in shock. All of the back spasms are gone. I can actually twist and touch my toes. What the heck? I swear some writers and business insiders would rather the whole country be on prescribed drugs and painkillers for their back problems instead of finding a natural solution to their problems. I have arthritis in my back and acupuncture helps immensely. I guess not enough people are lining their pockets with money. My dog's rear legs were paralyzed. 2 weeks of medicine didn't work, but 2 sessions of acupuncture did. Where did my dog learn about the placebo effect? A neurologist explains why you should use opioids. This man's aura screams he needs acupuncture. This comment section is a goddamn field day and I love it. Trust me, the field of neurology has zero solutions for their patients either. I've tried many different remedies and treatments for my tennis elbow. Nothing worked except acupuncture. If it was just a placebo effect, then why didn't I have a placebo effect for all the other treatments? Isn't that interesting? This guy would just prescribe you opioids, but yeah, it's acupuncture that doesn't work. Literally thousands of studies, but he doesn't even mention a single one. Damn dude, even I don't believe this shit. Am I getting the fallacies? Acupuncture literally saved me from anxiety. I've struggled with it for years, went to therapy, did medication, took yoga, literally did everything. I tried acupuncture once by a lady down where I live, and the last time I had anxiety was over a year ago. This is one of those things where the comments sort of say it all. Of course, a doctor would say this, lol, he just wants your money. Acupuncture saved my life. It helped my depression and my mental health, and I wasn't even a believer till I got the treatment. But this comment is the best. Just because you don't know how it works doesn't mean it doesn't work. And that is one of the most important comments here that we'll talk about now. So this brings up a really important discussion, because at this point, acupuncture is well accepted scientifically from Yale, Harvard, and Johns Hopkins. And this guy that runs this skeptic community, I don't know where he is now or what mom's basement he's in. Now, times have changed, and there actually is quite good quality research from Yale, Harvard, and Johns Hopkins we'll talk about the effectiveness of acupuncture and that it does indeed work. But this brings up a really important point, because since the dawn of time, every scientific revolution has been preceded by eminent scientists at the time really being skeptical and straight up calling people out for what they consider quackery. And I want to highlight a few examples through history because this is very telling about how the scientific process evolves over time, the paradigm really. There's actually an entire book written about this, but let's look at a few from history. So the first is the entire concept of heliocentrism, right? That the fact that the Earth is around the sun and not the sun is around the Earth. This was a really dominant belief for thousands of years for many kinds of scientists. And actually, if you look at the history of it, many scientists in the 16th century, and for sure the Catholic Church, were people who extremely vehemently dismissed this idea that we were in fact the ones going around and not that everything revolved around planet Earth. But Galileo and Kepler provided even more evidence, but it wasn't even widely accepted until Isaac Newton in the late 17th century. The second is the germ theory of disease, one of the most contested theories in medicine. And in fact, it was dismissed by many doctors in the early 19th century who believed that miasma, like bad air, was the cause of certain diseases. And one of the most sad historical anecdotes is about the physician Ignaz Semmelweis, who was looking at childbed fever in hospitals And he actually had observed that physicians that were delivering babies were killing way more than midwives delivering babies. And the reason was that the physicians were doing cadaver dissections earlier, and they were transmitting bacteria to the women vaginally. So he was excommunicated from medicine and he died pretty unhappily. And he was far ahead of his time of making this observation. Now, when it came to the research, he was completely ridiculed for suggesting hand washing could prevent infections. But later, people like Louis Pasteur and Robert Koch provided definitive evidence that these little microorganisms could cause disease. This led to another thing: sterile surgery. Antisepsis, or using antiseptic before surgery, was not common practice for a long time in human history, very recent human history. You look back, many 19th century surgeons refused to believe tiny organisms could infect wounds. And it wasn't really eventually proven until a guy named Joseph Lister, who introduced antiseptic surgery in the 1860s, dramatically reducing infections. And one final one here: most serious scientists did not believe the microbiome in your gut plays any significant role systemically throughout the body for most of history. Eventually, research in the 21st century had shown that gut bacteria significantly affects digestion, immunity, and even your mental health. I mean, we know that a bulk of the serotonin is produced actually in your gut. So this is the evolution of science, and things that were once considered complete quackery by eminent doctors are well accepted now. Now, these days, all of the Ivy League schools have the research on how acupuncture works, and most importantly, that it does work. For example, take a look at this from Harvard Medical School. Dr. Lucy Chen from Massachusetts General Hospital emphasized that acupuncture provides really clear benefits for chronic pain with minimal risk compared to medication. One study of 29 studies involved 18,000 participants showed that it reduced pain by about 50% compared to conventional treatments like pain meds. Another study profiled at Yale University, where Dr. Shuming Wang conducted an NIH-funded trial on acupuncture for reducing back pain during pregnancy, demonstrating immediate relief in initial cases, and ongoing studies even confirm its effectiveness. And then finally, let's talk about Johns Hopkins Medicine. At Johns Hopkins, their integrative medicine center incorporates acupuncture into clinical care for musculoskeletal pain and even cancer treatment side effects. So they're actually studying acupuncture's role in improving symptoms of breast cancer treatment as well. And finally, there's a great Time magazine article out now, and it talks about some of the research on acupuncture. And what it found was that the NIH recognizes strong evidence for acupuncture in managing pain, osteoarthritis, tension headaches, and even symptoms related to cancer treatments themselves. So here's where we are right now in 2025. So the science is always evolving and always changing. And a part of why I do what I do here is because 15 years ago, when I had health problems, not a single damn doctor on the East Coast in New York or Connecticut would ever have recommended seeing a traditional Chinese medicine practitioner. I decided not to go to medical school because my experience seeing a practitioner was so profound and made me so disappointed in conventional medical care, never recommending this, that it completely changed the direction of my life for the better. The reason I do what I do is so that you can figure out there are other options besides irreversible surgeries, procedures, and pills and medications for life. And unfortunately, your doctor will never know about them and will never recommend them. And that's my job to help you see that. Now, if you guys want to learn about some of the healing practices in traditional Chinese medicine, the first link below this video is for a free quiz and also a 7-day email series on the lost practices and science of healing. It's a 7-day series on an introduction to healing with traditional Chinese medicine. So check out the first link below, or just go to dralexheyne.com/quiz to download that. You'll get a free quiz, it's like 10 pages, that will help you figure out where your key symptoms are coming from. So download that, check it out, you go through the email series, and that'll give you some gems there you probably haven't seen. And then if you do want to work with me one-on-one, so I work with a limited number of new patients every month in my clinic in Los Angeles, or virtually via telemedicine. And if you just go to dralexheyne.com/clinic, or in the bio of this video, the description, you'll see the clinic phone number and email and that kind of thing. That's basically, I work with a limited number of new people in person or telemedicine. If you want to reach out, you can do it that way. And then before you go, I have another great related video right up there.